Since a lot of people watched the prior assignment when I created a video, I'd like to just talk about this article summary and translation. So it looks very complicated, and I want to give you kind of an overview and show you all the pages, right? So you get that big view, and then we'll talk about the specifics, right? It's not as, sorry, my computer now is just froze. I'm very sorry. My computer is like, hey, now it's time to freeze. Let me pull this up. Hold on. Okay, here we go. So let's look at let's just get an overview of what this assignment is, right? It looks like you're doing a lot, but really all of the mechanics of what you did in that first paper kind of got you ready for this assignment. So you're doing two things. Actually, you're doing a couple things. So the first thing is you're getting a total of 5 articles that refer to the topic of your interest. So you already have one, right? That would be one that you would use. And for the 5 articles, you are creating just a simple abstract or summary of each of them. So for each of the 5 that you're listed here, you're going to list the 5 in APA style and do this for each of them. Give a brief overview, write a mini abstract that you create yourself. Right, you're going to do that for the 5 of them. And then you're going to narrow down and say, okay, so you have these 5 articles that you looked at. They're quantitative, that address the topic that you seek to study. And you're going to narrow it down to 3, right? There are going to be 3 articles that you're going to outline here in this template, and then those 3 articles are going to be the ones you're going to talk about when you do your video presentation. So then just talk about why of these 5 you chose the 3, right? Maybe they had a better study design, maybe they were in a similar geographic area, maybe they were better written, maybe it was they used tests that you found were more appropriate. So you're going to just say why you narrowed down the 3 from the 5. And let me show you again. Then you're going to run through, this is an example, right? This is an example, but you're going to run through for each of the 3 articles, you're going to fill in the table. So for article 1, fill in that aspect of the table. Article 2, fill in this aspect of the table. And then article 3, you're going to fill out this, right? The table is the same. You're going to pull the same information, data, characteristics from each article. So in this sample, I want to show you, let's look a little larger here. You're going to do 2 things. You're going to, after listing the article in APA style, you're going to pull the scientific language, and then you're going to translate it into everyday language, right? It's language that you would use when you present it to your peers. So here's the example. And you can quote, just cite the page. So from this article, Rava, Shatuk, Ras, and Aru, this is what you're pulling. What is the study objective? Remember, we did that in the first part of the last assignment. Here's what it is in the article. Here's what it is in everyday language, right? You're interpreting this and it's readable, right? Is there a hypothesis? You're answering the question, no. You don't have to translate it into English. Methods, it's a quantitative study. Here's the data, and here's the analysis. And then you're writing it up in everyday language, summarizing, right? This cues you in. What type of study? Oh, here you can have qualitative too. Huh, okay, so qualitative. Interesting. Oh, wow. Okay, so good. This will actually help a lot of the times when people are looking for studies and can't find qualitative. So that's interesting too. Mixed methods, we've had a few of those. What are inclusion, exclusion? How were the data collected? Is there a survey scale? And how were the data analyzed, right? From the article, from your own interpretation. How did this study turn out? Meaning, what are the results? Right? If it was quantitative, were the findings significant? If it was qualitative, what kind of themes did they find? Here's what the authors said, the researchers. Here's what you're saying in everyday language or interpreting. Limitations, remember, a study is just as relevant with or without limitations. What did they say the limitations were verbatim? And then how would you describe these limitations in everyday language? What's the conclusion? What's the conclusion in everyday language? You're going to just answer these questions in the everyday language section. Are there any ethical issues, right? Conflicts of interest? None. And then in your opinion, what's the deal? What's the big deal of this study? Is it relevant, right? Is it going to change policy practice? What's the big takeaway, right? What's the big impact this study made? And then you go through and do the same thing you did for the remaining 3 articles, right? So Article 1, Article 2, Article 3. So the way that I think of it again, and I just want to show you the multiple page view because I find it really helpful. You're just narrowing down. Here's 5 articles. The great part is quantitative or qualitative, right? So, or mixed methods. So any article that has bearing on your topic, right? The articles, if you discarded qualitative ones, you can bring them back. So that's kind of neat. List the 5 articles, give a summary that you write, like a mini abstract, an overview of the articles, each one of them. Then you decide, what makes the 3 you chose better to use in your video presentation? Why are you selecting these 3? What's unique about them? And then use this template and go through, right? Outline Article 1 using these criteria, answer the questions for Article 2, and answer the questions for Article 3. You do not have to write any narrative or essay or text. All you have to do is pull the pieces of information and fill in these boxes and then translate them here into your own words. This is great because this will be the foundation for your video presentation. So take some time, work on it. Again, reach out if you have questions. And I'm going to repeat this again, and I'll put it in some of the announcements I write. Let's go back. The great part, right? What type of study? Right? Was it quantitative, qualitative, or mixed? So we have, in this case, a lot of freedom. You have a lot of freedom of study type. Right? So I just wanted to make that quick video for you all. And I hope you find it meaningful. And again, reach out with questions, but bring back those qualitative articles, bring back those mixed method articles, put the 5, summarize them, say why you're going to pick the 3, outline them, and then go back and make sure that in that last column, you're really interpreting it in everyday language so you can express what you've learned in your video presentation. So stay tuned. We'll talk about that in a little bit.